This is Moments with Foo with James Foo Torres, better known as Foo, the show that takes you around the world to share interviews with some of the most successful and relevant people on the planet, hear their stories, and get the most important business lessons they have learned on their road to success, and get exclusive advice on how to implement their success into your life and business. Moments with Foo is brought to you by the Strategic Advisor Board and your host, Foo.
Welcome to Moments with Foo. I'm your host, James Foo Torres, but you can call me Foo, hence the name of the podcast. Today I have Jon Macaskill. He is a ex-Navy SEAL commander, and now he's all about mindfulness. I believe his nickname now is Mindful Frog something. What was it?
Yeah, the Mindful Frog Man.
The Mindful Frog Man. And I'm going to let him tell you more about that because I don't even know much about it other than that I saw it online. First of all, Jon, how are you?
Hey, Foo, I'm doing great, man. Good to see you. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, thanks for coming here. One thing that I want to point out is that we had a podcast schedule a couple months back, and then it didn't happen. And I think it was almost, it was not a coincidence because then after that, I started prioritizing mindfulness and breath work and going into that route. And now I feel like I can understand better what the reason that you went that way. And we're going to get into those details soon. So that's why I think it was perfect timing that we had to reschedule, and now we're doing it now. So.
Yeah, man, the universe works in mysterious ways, or whatever it is you believe in for your higher power works in mysterious ways. So glad that it worked out the way it did.
Yeah, likewise. So let's kick it up with a quick introduction about yourself and your company or what you're focusing on right now, because I'm not sure.
Yeah, man. As you touched on, I am a retired Navy SEAL commander, and I had my own struggles with anxiety and stress and depression from work and from the battlefield and from my own personal life. And long story short, I'll keep it short for your listeners. I was finally introduced to mindfulness and meditation by a counselor. And that initial introduction, I laughed in his face. And then after a while, he had some patience with me, and he finally got me to practice it. And after about 2 or 3 months of regular practice, I started to see changes in the way that I saw the world and the way that I saw myself and the way that I managed life and handled life. And I started to find a sense of fulfillment again, a sense of fulfillment that I'd been missing. And so I became a regular practitioner, a true believer in the power of mindfulness and meditation. And I feel it's a duty and an obligation of mine to pay it forward to anyone and everyone who will listen. So now what I do is I do that for a living. I share mindfulness and meditation through Insight Timer, as we were discussing before you hit record. I have some meditations on there. I've got some meditations on our own podcast called Men Talking Mindfulness. And then I do retreats and workshops and keynote speaking, all based around helping people find mindfulness and meditation so that they can live a happier, healthier, more fulfilled life personally and professionally. And the company is Frogman Mindfulness, and I am the Mindful Frogman. And the reason that is the SEALs are known as Frogman. That's kind of the nickname, and that's why Mindful Frogman came to be, or Frogman Mindfulness came to be.
It's there's a saying in Puerto Rico that we say después que le ves las bolas al perro, sabes que es macho, which that means that after you see the balls of the dog, now you know it's a male. Right? Because when you say that, I was like, that makes so much sense. And thieves, somebody that is a Navy SEAL is somebody that is like earth, but also water, but it can be in both. And now that you say that, it's like, oh, makes sense. So, that's so funny that in how you got to that. Because I saw it, I was like, I don't know why it didn't click for me. I guess I didn't even try to make it click, because I was like,
oh, good. It's all good. I get that question quite regularly. What's the frog man? What's that all about? So that's what it is.
That's cool. And after you get it, right? So yeah. I like that. That's
Thanks.
cool that thanks for giving us a little bit of the story and the transparency. Like the first time they just like laugh at the person. It's like this is funny, and now it's part of who you are. And um, for me, I'm I study engineer here in the best school here in Puerto Rico, University of Puerto Rico, Recinto de Mayagüez, like in Mayagüez. And I went to engineering because I was good at math and science, because I always those things made sense for me. So that astrology or like anything that sounded related to woo woo stuff like mindfulness or all these things, right? For me, look, if I can have logic and really understand it, then might as well just focus on the things that I do understand and it makes sense. So that's why I like math and science. And as I started my entrepreneur journey, I I felt like I needed more. I needed more than just what my mind could understand, and that's when I started looking. Okay, so like spiritual. I always been spiritual, but just kind of be more intentional about it, and then slowly, like I finally this year I met somebody, like I told you, Stephanie J, that she helped me to really like start digging into this, and in the first thing to get into this journey of how do I focus on myself and find peace and pleasure and everything, feel complete and fulfilled without external things happening, like everything that I have control. And that's how I started doing breath work. That was the first thing, and then like from there I started learning other ways to like meditate, and like I started being more mindful on yoga, which I've done yoga for almost 3 years now. But it was
Nice.
good, but it like I was like, oh, I do breath work during yoga, I was saying.
Yeah.
But then when I started prioritizing it, I was like, oh no, this is different. It's not just what you do in yoga, it's like you just really get into yourself. So that when it clicked for me, and it's as of recently, and then I was like, wow, like I feel also, like you said, the duty of like, almost I would say like, oh, I become almost like a preacher, because is I discovered this for myself, and I feel like it would be selfish for me not to share it, because it has changed my life so much. My business is so much better. My relationship with my mom is so much better. Everything because of prioritizing, working on myself, and mindfulness, meditation, and unpacking all those things that come through, and get the. Thankfully, I have a coach for that, and I'm guessing, do you do something similar? Of, you guiding people seems a lot to one to many, but do you have any maybe closer group sessions or things to help like unpack not just the things that you need to do, but then unpack the things that come out after you do it?
Yeah, 100%. And I just got to go back on something you said about the numbers, the data, the science, the math. I've got my degree in mathematics and my master's degree in operations research. So I'm very data driven. And when this counselor recommended mindfulness and meditation to me, again, after laughing, he finally sat down and he explained to me the performance enhancing side. But then after a while, after I'd been practicing, I came back. I'm like, hey man, what's actually happening? I need to know the science behind it. So I totally get where you're at, man. The understanding the science behind what's happening in your brain, the physiology, the biology, what's happening. It's fascinating, but it truly is. There's something more to it than just the woo woo stuff. It's actually changing the brain structure and changing the way that you perceive the world and the way that you respond to the world. So it's pretty powerful. But yeah, 100%, man. We do retreats, we do a mastermind, we do group coaching. And when I say we, I've partnered with my podcast co-host, Will Schneider, and then a friend of ours, Teresa Larson, and the three of us together, it's kind of the mind and body together. So Will is a yoga instructor and a mindfulness teacher. And then Teresa, she's a Marine veteran turned doctor of physical therapy. And so the three of us come together to work on the mind and the body together in retreats, the group coaching, and the masterminds. And we unpack a lot of that, what's happening, what you're experiencing, what you're feeling emotionally and physically in a meditation and after a meditation. Sometimes stuff boils up or bubbles up in a meditation itself, sometimes it's a few hours afterwards and something bubbles up in your body, physically or in your emotions, and you're wondering what's happening. Well, that can be from the meditation itself, or from the body work that you're doing, or from the yoga that you're doing. I mean, I've done yoga, and after a yoga, I'm laying there in the corpse pose, at the end, and I'm crying, and I'm like, what in the world is happening? And to have that explained to me, that that's normal, and it's body reacting to some of the stress, some of the anger, some of the anxiety, whatever it is that you're holding inside, and then just letting it go. You let it go in those tears, and it's incredibly powerful. But yeah, to have somebody talk you through what it is you're experiencing is very helpful, and that is what part of what we do.
Amazing. I always believe that, there's enough information in the internet that you can figure pretty much everything, right? But there's so much power in having a guide that you feel like you get that immediate feedback of, yes, you're doing right, this is okay. And because there's only so much sometimes like they can get on like a video, but somebody that can really be, that's what retreats, it's
Right.
incredibly powerful, and a big focus of mine. Like, I haven't done one but I've done, events in business, right? And it was a focus for me to go that way. But now it's not like I want to stop the in-person events and all that in the just like business wise. But since I started this journey, I've been prioritizing self-development before business development, because there's no
Mm,
real business problems. It's just personal problems that reflect on the business. And if we're all
right.
together work on our personal problems, and as long as we align in our values, our mission, in the vision, then having a very successful company or a group, community, whatever that you put humans together, it becomes a lot easier when we all work in ourselves and we don't let the ego and trauma and all these things get on the way. So
Sure.
that's something that's
Oh
a
yeah.
big priority for me.
That's
And
good, man. You take care of yourself first, and a lot of the time, a lot of these other things will fall into place. Take care of yourself as a human being. Then quite often you're going to be a better leader of people. So quite often you're going to be a better manager of systems and processes. You're going to be a better friend, a better father, a better husband, a better son, a better friend. I think I already said friend, but anyhow,
friend
yeah. The
twice.
bottom line is, yeah, you're going to be a better friend twice. So yeah, it's amazing what when you start to take care of yourself, how things fall into place. I know that being a naval officer, I was taught to take care of your people first, and there's definitely value in taking care of your people, obviously. But if you continually prioritize your people first, and whether that's the people that work for you in an organization, whether it's your friends, whether it's your family, if continually put them first and you never put yourself first, then you end up not being the best version of yourself for them. So you can't be a great leader if you don't take care of yourself. You can't be a good friend if you don't take care of yourself. You can't be a good father, husband if you're not taking care of yourself. So at some level, taking care of yourself, self-care, is not selfish. And a lot of people think that it is. They think that, hey, if you take time to go to the gym, they take time to meditate, take time to pray, take time to do whatever it is that you need, then that's selfish. But ultimately, you're doing it out of love for yourself and others, not just love for yourself. So it's not selfish at all in that respect.
Not at all. I posted the other day, the best thing that you can do for others is to take care of yourself.
Yeah, indeed. Indeed.
Because after you take care of yourself, you can be more productive. You're not getting in your way. And even not only the direct things that, oh, you can be more productive and do more things for them, but what I've noticed myself and my family is, just by setting up the example,
Mm,
they start doing stuff. My
yeah,
family now, like I be posting that I'm focusing on myself and the food that I'm eating and stuff. And now my family are like, oh, I started doing like changing
nice.
how I eat and all those things. And it's just that almost like osmosis, right? Like, if you're close to people and you show them by example, sometimes you don't even need to tell them. Just by you setting the example, that's something that it becomes a great help, like bigger than even if you were like there trying to just direct them.
Absolutely. No, man, lead by example. That's what you're doing. Right
Yeah.
on.
So now that we kind of preface all this, right, and we made it very obvious, like with our backgrounds and in our experiences, how powerful mindfulness, meditation, self-care is. What are some actionable tips or advice that you have for the audience that are business owners or aspiring business owners dealing with a lot of stress and anxiety and depression? So what actionable tips or advice do you have for people dealing
Yeah.
with a lot?
Yeah. Thanks for that, Fu. I mean, first off, what we just said, prioritizing self-care. It's very easy to not prioritize self-care. It's very easy to wake up in the morning, and start checking your email, your social media notifications, your business, and get wrapped up in that, thinking that you're doing it for the benefit of others. But in actuality, if you're not prioritizing that self-care, if you're not maybe having a basic daily or basic morning routine that includes some type of quiet time, whatever that quiet time looks like for you, so maybe it's meditation, maybe it's prayer, whatever it is, having some type of quiet time to yourself in the morning, having some type of exercise in the morning, physical exercise. It doesn't have to be, crushing your soul, but some type of physical exercise, getting that blood going, that's going to help to decrease the perception of stress. And I say that way very intentionally, because you're still going to have stress in your life. It's not going to decrease the stress in your life, but it's going to decrease your perception of it, and it's going to change the way that you handle it. And then the other thing that I want to make sure I tell people is to give yourself grace. A lot of the time when we're starting to feel stress, we're starting to feel anxiety, we're starting to feel sad, whatever it is, we start to beat ourselves up for feeling a certain way. And then it's just a downward spiral from there. And then we just get into this pit of woe. When we accept that we're feeling a certain way because of something that is happening in our life, maybe we have something going on in our personal relationships, maybe we have something going on at work, maybe we have something going on with our business or our financial situation, whatever the case is, a lot of the time, the way we feel is driven by something that's driving that. And when we look at our lives and say, of course I feel this way because of X, Y, and Z, give ourselves some credit for feeling this way and give ourselves some grace. And then on the other side of that is sometimes we feel a certain way because our chemistry is off inside, right? Maybe we have no explanation for why we're feeling down. And then we start to beat ourselves up again. Well, it might be a chemical imbalance, and that's part of the human experience as well. Is we're going to have times when our chemical system is unbalanced, and we need to give ourselves grace on that thing too. Is sometimes we're going to feel something that doesn't quite feel like it fits the experience that we're living, and give ourselves some grace, go through it, sit with that experience, sit with that emotion, sit with it and get through it, because that's the only way out, is sitting with it and going through it. So those are my actionable steps for you, brother.
I love them. And I agree with all of them. And what I call that spiral that you say, it's like a shame spiral.
Absolutely.
And for me, I even working on the mindfulness, having a coach, and having that, I still go into shame spirals. And what I'm getting better at, as I've noticed, is just on catching it and then like give it the label.
Yeah.
And then I do a mantra that is shame doesn't serve anybody.
I like that.
From that, it's like, look, this doesn't serve anybody. Like, you're not just going to shame thing is not gonna do anything, right? So like, just kind of stop, recognize it, like you said, just kind of just embrace it. This is what you're feeling, and it's okay.
Right.
And then from there, what things can you do to get out of that? And to external things, right? Because sometimes you can desire to get out of it, but just can't seem to get out of it. So having things that can trigger like getting out of that is very useful for me. I typically go to like a Alex Hormozy podcast. And as soon as, like, swear, yesterday I was like kind of like down and stuff, and then I put it on, and I swear that I wasn't even 5 minutes in, and I was already working out, and I was like, because he's such a hard worker, and he explained things so well, and also there's the fact that I remember a bunch of other stuff too just by listening to him, right? Because like it triggers
Sure.
like memories. So then I'm like, okay, I'm on, and it's like, regardless of my feelings, regardless of anything, the work needs to get done. And I started doing those things, and I just got the cold shower too. That they help a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, they
And
do.
that's it. Bounce back. Got spent some a good day with my sister.
Right on, man.
So I wanted to share that too for people. Like, look, even us that we like. I'm doing it for 5 months. It's not like I'm doing it for like a whole long time. But even like me being like with coaching and everything, there's still like yesterday, I was feeling bad. But it's just finding how to like go back to center, let's say, right?
Sure.
And,
Yeah.
and take it from there. Is there any little like things like that you have that you're like, I'm feeling down, let me just do this or listen to that or watch that?
Yeah, man. I'm I'm kind of a funny animal in that I don't
Frogman.
necessarily. Yes, definitely. But David Goggins and Jocko Willink, they're fellow frogman, fellow Navy SEALs who are out there. They're motivational speakers and they're very hard physical men. Like, David Goggins is running 200 miles at a time, and Jocko Willink wakes up at 4 a.m. every morning to do his weightlifting and jujitsu and stuff. And I don't necessarily subscribe to all that, but I do like listening to what they have to say because their mindset is very powerful. They talk about, if you want to do something, go out and do it. Don't sit here and procrastinate. And the way to destroy procrastination is by getting out and doing something. So I will listen to a lot of their talks to motivate me, which people find funny. They're like, wait a minute, you're a Navy SEAL and you're listening to a Navy SEAL talk? I'm like, yeah, but it's not because they're a Navy SEAL. It's because they're great motivational speakers. And I like what they have to say about getting your butt going in the morning or getting your butt going on whatever it is that you want to, overcome. And quite often when I'm feeling down, I will listen to what it is they have to say. And that might get me to do a short run. I'm certainly not going out and running 200 miles like David Goggins, but I might go out and do a run, and that gets the endorphins going, and that gets me feeling better about myself. And now I've got some dopamine because I'm like, hey, you know what? I went out and did something. And that helps me quite a lot. The cold showers help a lot to a point. I think if you take them for too long, if you take like a 20-minute cold shower, you're gonna be hurting. But that first 3 or 4 minutes when you get that dopamine release, you get that adrenaline release, man, that gets you going in the morning or in the late afternoon. I try not to take a cold shower too close to bed because then I won't sleep well. But the cold showers are fantastic.
Yeah, I still take cold showers before I go to bed. I do like a cold rinse, right? So it's more of try to do at least 2 minutes and stuff. And it's just also it happens that here I've been doing it for almost a year now because I think I started like at the beginning of 2023. So and I was doing it in Oregon, which it was a lot harder because it's really cold.
Sure.
But then in here in Puerto Rico, my shower is either really hot or cold, so there's no in between. So I kind of forced to like, I can take a little bit of hot in the beginning, but I can't take it anymore. So then I'm forced to take it, and then I think about like me like resisting, and then I think about the resistance of like other stuff. So it's that embracing the suck, right? Like in the military, right. I was taught in the military. So, and that's what translates then to embrace the suck on things that I need to do for the business. So
there you go.
That's how I do it. And same thing with you with the David Goggins things. Like I'm not a gym rat or want to be like this super buff guy. Yeah, I want to be in good shape and I want to feel good, and that's why I start doing my things. But it's not like, let me go lift weights until I look like Alex Hormozi, right? Like that's not that's right. Not the thing. Definitely not my goal. But the mindset is just it is the mindset that he has, and I hear him talking, and he's like, damn, like I want to express myself this good. I want to have that perspective. I learn a lot from his perspectives, and it helps me like kind of have like the perspective of stress and all these different emotions, right? It's not that I don't feel them. I just label them. I say it's okay, and then I deal with them. And that's it.
Exactly, man. You're on it. Seems
Thank
like
you.
you've been doing this a lot longer than, what'd you say, 5-6 months?
Yeah,
You're on it, brother. I love it.
I mean, the self development journey, it started there like heavily when I started entrepreneurship, because
Mhm.
you're forced to it. Like I say,
Right.
I someone told me, like, right, like entrepreneurship and being a business owner, it's a self development journey that you look to get paid for, and then teach
Yeah.
others what you learn along the way.
Right.
So when I look at like that, so simplistic, I've been self-development since I started my journey, because I was like, oh, I need to be a better communicator. I need to be better at sales. With that comes psychology. With that comes, well, if I want to work as many hours as I can, especially when I was dabbling between full-time job and the business, then I need to be as healthy as possible. For that, I need to eat well. I need to work out, and that's what got me into yoga, because
Yeah.
I was like, just going to the gym, especially when outside of the Air Force, when I got out, it's just, oh, subscribe to a gym. And there was COVID and there was this thing. So I just started doing everything at home. And yoga was a great way to have. I got it one that it was not voiceover. So it was like actual, she's doing it with me and talking with me. So it
Mhm.
felt like she was an instructor for me. Like she's my yogi master. I mean, she doesn't know me, but I love her, and she's my yogi master, which is from Boho
Nice.
Beautiful, Juliana. I love her. So if you listen to this, I love you. but I got that, and then I started doing that like at the end of 2020, and I started the company in June 2020. So it was like after 6 months, shortly after I got like my first like 1 or 2 sales and all that, because it took me almost 6 months to get them. And then from there I was like, oh, okay, I need more. Like, okay, I sold all that, but like, and that's when I started doing the yoga. I was like, okay, this is an efficient way to stretch, meditate, breath work out my body, right? So I have all that combined, and then from there slowly, I guess, eventually got into go deeper into the breath work and all that. I tried like Wim Hof, and I just wasn't never
Yeah.
consistent, and it was just like it was there, like in, because after do you yoga, you kind of are, it's like the slippery slope, right? So I just was having resistance until someone came, which is Stephanie J. And one thing that I didn't mention before is like she's woo, right? Like she has a couple things, but she's very grounded, meaning she has a scientific explanation for everything, which
Mhm.
I definitely need to. I'll send you the information and everything, because I want you to connect with her too, because I think you'll like her too.
That'd be great.
And we're in the same world, so
Right.
I so because of that, like taking that to like science of why it's happening and all that. So that for me, I really liked it, and that's what got me into embrace the woo, let's say.
Awesome. Awesome, man. The foo embraces the woo.
Damn, that could be. Hey, let me just put this here. Like embrace the who. Wow. Well, look, I put it there. I put it here.
There you
Because hey, that could be something.
go.
Foo embraces the woo, or embrace the woo with Foo,
There you
right?
go. I like it.
Oh, guys. So we talked a couple of great things here. Is there any last takeaway, or like a big challenge you've overcome along the way, or you helped some of your clients that you want to leave the audience with?
Yeah, man. I don't know if I can think of anyone in particular, but every
You can
once in a
say a
while,
couple other ones.
yeah, I get a message from somebody who follows me on social media or follows me on Inside Timer, and they say, hey, thanks so much for what it is you're putting out in the universe, because I needed to hear that very thing today. Whether it was because of a personal challenge they were experiencing or a professional challenge they were experiencing. I'm able to impact their lives in a positive way. And that, I tell you what, no amount of money is going to pay me more than that. That knowing that what I'm doing and what I'm sharing, more importantly, it's not so much me, but it's the work that I'm sharing with people is positively impacting their lives personally and professionally. So that includes saving their lives. Like quite literally, people have been on the brink of suicidal thoughts, to changing their business plans, to having them start a new business or leave a business that they weren't interested in. So it's been pretty wild to see the impact that these practices, not so much me, but again, these practices that I'm sharing with people can have on their lives, it's incredible. I am just honored and privileged to be a vessel that shares these practices with them. And that's through, again, the retreats, through my own podcast, Men Talking Mindfulness, through the business, Mindful Frogman, or Frogman Mindfulness is the business. It's all those things combined, and it's just such an honor and a privilege, and I love that I get an opportunity to do it.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that you've been able to impact a lot of people in a big way, and I have too, maybe not as many because I haven't been that long, but I've got a couple people since I started, especially like I was focusing on public relations, and then at the beginning of this year I met some people that really helped me understand in how to sell strategy rather than tactics and technical work,
Mm-hmm.
like because I have enough experience already and have knowledge and resources and everything to look at the bigger picture. And when they really opened my eyes to that, then I really understand Jason, which is,
Mm-hmm.
that's why he did the strategic advisor board. I was like, oh, it makes sense now, right? Like it kind of clicked, because sometimes
Right.
Jason's great. He has done amazing things for me, but sometimes he's so high level thinking that for a startup like me, like it was like kind of understand him. It was hard.
Sure.
I got things, but like to really understand the big picture, because they helped me to understand that. I was like, oh, and now I kind of talk with Jason more at a higher level, and I was like, wow, like I feel like I truly leveled up. And then
Nice.
when the coaching with Stephanie started and all that, this was in July, and that was like the cherry on top. Like that's what I was needed, because I was like, okay, I have all the resources, I have the knowledge. Now I know that the becoming a strategic advisor for my client is the way. Teaching other service providers, and then I went to accountants and tax pros because I have very good experience working with them, and I really like the space. Then how to become a strategic advisors for their clients. I was like, perfect, this is it. Like I got it. But then there was still something missing, and it was to prioritize working on myself and going into that
Right.
breath work and mindfulness, and that was the missing piece. So that's why for me, like I really, like when I started prioritizing that and then bringing the strategy, now I bring the strategy for a more holistic angle, and people are loving it, and it's clicking. I mean, it was like perfect. I'm a testimony of it, and then I'm seeing clicking with clients and other even
Awesome.
partners and people that are in my network that aren't necessarily clients, but I still help. And I was like, perfect. Like I feel like that. Damn, man. Like I feel ready. I just took this client because of you. I did this because of you. Like thank you, and all that is so fulfilling, and just like that shot of adrenaline. That's like nothing. Like money is just a tool to be able to
Right.
accomplish the things. That's what I do it for, like that, for that pleasure. So in that we definitely align.
I love it, man. I love it.
So I mean, you kind of mentioned it a little bit, but who are the specific people that you're looking to connect, and how can people find you?
Yeah. Well, it's pretty easy to find me. I'm on LinkedIn. Just if you look for a Navy SEAL commander teaching mindfulness and meditation, you're probably going to find me. And you can go to jonmacaskill.com/links. That'll take you to my social media and the different programs that I'm teaching and involved with. And then as far as some of the other things I've got going on, and want to the people that I want to work with. Again, I mentioned the workshops, the retreats. I love working with veterans. They're near and dear to my heart. I want to help them with some of the same things I've experienced, helping people transition out of the military, helping them with the point after the transition. It's that in and of itself, as I'm sure you've experienced, is pretty stressful, pretty emotionally draining. But I also like to work with corporate America, C-suite, upper middle management, because they need it. They need it just as much, because a lot of what they're doing, they're focused very much on the facts, figures, numbers, and they're not really living life to the fullest. And I want to help them to live the life to the fullest. And then that ultimately can help to change the bottom line for their companies. So that's who I'm looking to work with.
Yeah, amazing. I mean, and being able to work with those leaders uh, will then, like I was mentioning before, will set the example, so then the people that they are leading can also implement things and have change just because their leaders are taking that, and obviously like they can bring it in too, and then maybe do a workshop with you and things like that, right? So
Exactly.
okay, I love it. And this is like my focus also, like where I'm going into helping people, helping leaders to really prioritize themselves, and my door that I come in, typically, well, it's the marketing, but ultimately I want to align with people that it's a long-term thing, that we have this holistic growth, how I'm calling it. Like, it's because if we just focus on the business, things are just not gonna go well. But if we focus on this holistic growth, then we can all grow together, grow a community, and then impulse a movement, right? Like, which is something that I like to say, that I like empowering ideas into movements. And I do it with this, right? Starting with this. So thank you, Jon, for this amazing conversation. Hopefully we can do more together, because I mean, very, very aligned, and I enjoy this a lot. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Foo. Thanks for doing what you're doing, and thanks for having me. Thanks for the opportunity.
No, so this was Jon Macaskill and Foo, and this is us signing off.
Thanks for listening to Moments with Foo with your host, Foo. Please leave your feedback and visit strategicadvisorboard.com to get the latest and greatest business advisement on the planet. Follow us on social media for updates, and we will see you on the next episode.